What's up, guys? HockeyTikTockey is back once again. I'm broadcasting to you guys live from my car. I'm on the way to the go to go skiing, so that's why I'm in the car right now. But anyways, this is part 2 of a video series I started the other day, which is going to be called grading all 32 NHL teams at the halfway point of the season. Last time I did the Metro division. So if you guys want to see that, you can check it out. It's on my page, HockeyTikTockey. And now we're going to get right into the Atlantic division of the Eastern Conference. So the way it's going to work is I'm actually going to go through all the teams in that division in no particular order. And I'm going to give a letter grade based off of passing or failing as how the team is doing for the first half of the season. So it's about halfway into the NHL season. Most of the teams have played 41 out of 82 games. Some played more, some played less. But yeah, here we are. Let's get her going. So I'm going to start things off with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I give the Maple Leafs an A for their efforts so far halfway into the season. They've been playing really well, on both ends of the ice, offensively, defensively. They're top of the division right now and are a lock for a playoff spot. The real grades for this team, though, are settled in the postseason. They've been a perennial contender for the last few years, so it's unsurprising how well they're doing. But they still get an A for keeping that effort up and doing really well. So that's the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Buffalo Sabres, I give a big fat F to. Buffalo is one of the worst teams in the league, once again, at the bottom of the standings. And I thought for sure, I've actually been sort of hedging a bet on Buffalo for the last couple of years, expecting them to be able to turn this franchise around, because they currently hold one of the longest playoff droughts in the history of not just the NHL but the professional sports world. I think the only other team that's even close to as bad as the Buffalo Sabres are in terms of making the playoffs, I think it's the New York Jets of the NFL. So Buffalo gets a big fat F. I have no idea what's wrong with that team. I thought for sure they were going to turn things around when they started to emerge with some new talent a few years ago, like Thompson and Cousins and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Lots of really young, talented players, and yet and their defensive core too. Dahlin, I think, and Power are really good players. They just can't figure it out, guys. It's unbelievable. Buffalo is terrible. Big fat F. Another team that gets a failing grade this year is the Detroit Red Wings. They are in a similar boat to Buffalo, where they have been rebuilding for the last few years, except not as long as Buffalo, but they are also on quite a long playoff drought. They haven't made the playoffs in something like 7 years or something like that. And each and every passing year, it looks like they're taking a little bit of a step forward, but then by the end of it, they're just right back down to it. So Detroit Red Wings gets an F. Next, I'm going to do Florida Panthers. I give them an A+. They're amazing right now, coming off a Stanley Cup championship, a victory, and also back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals appearances. It does not look like Florida is going anywhere. They're staying right amongst the top teams in the NHL. And it's surprising to see that, because a lot of the times in the new world of the NHL with salary caps and, the parity among the league, it's hard to stay at the top for a long, long time. So Florida is the new sort of franchise that everybody should be looking up to, taking the mantle from their cross-state rival Tampa Bay. So Florida gets an A+. Next, we're doing the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to give them a C- for now. C-. So they are doing a lot better than I expected. I thought Montreal was going to be down near the bottom of the league again, like Detroit and Buffalo, but they've actually had a really nice run in the last, I think, 10 to 15 games or so, and are fighting for a wild card spot halfway into the season, which is better than I expected. If they want to move up and get a really passing good grade by the end of the season, all they would have to do is make the playoffs to switch this from a C minus. They would bump all the way up into an A for me. That's how I would grade them. So similarly, I would give Ottawa Senators the same grade, because they are another team that's missed the playoffs quite a few years in a row, but are back into the fight again. Halfway into the season, they are fighting for a wild card spot. I think the expectation, at least for me, was that Ottawa would be doing a little bit better than Montreal, because I think that their talented players like Stützle and Brady Tkachuk are more well-rounded and better players than Montreal superstar players like Suzuki. And that's just my opinion. I think that Ottawa's a lot better. They also got a superstar goaltender now in Linus Ullmark. So they're a C for now, C+, but if they make the playoffs, they'll switch to an A as well by the end of the season. Next, we have the Boston Bruins. Boston, I'm giving a B- to right now. They're in the playoff race. They're aided by the fact that they're in this division, because there's not a lot of separation between sort of the middle of the pack. The top two teams, like Toronto and Florida, they're kind of on a level of their own. They're like way up there. And then everybody below them, Boston, Tampa, Ottawa, Montreal, are kind of lumped together right now. So Boston is aided by that fact, but I give them a B- because I think the expectation for this team was a lot higher at the beginning of the season, considering the fact that they got a center in Elias Lindholm. And, he was supposed to be the guy that could kind of replace some of the center's depth that they've been missing the last few years, with the retirement of Bergeron and Krejci the other couple years ago there. So the fact that they're not doing that well, Pasternak is not doing that well either. It's a little bit concerning, but they do still hold a playoff spot as of right now. It'll be interesting to see how they finish down the stretch in the second half of the season. Same thing goes for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay Lightning, though, I think I'm going to give an A to instead of a B-, because in my belief is that Tampa Bay should have taken a bigger step back compared to Boston, due to the fact that instead of adding players, they let some of their top players walk away at the end of the season. They let Steven Stamkos, their captain, their 40-goal scorer, veteran leader guy, sign with another team at the end of the year. So if you are a team that does that, usually your expectation coming into the season might be that you might take a bit of a step back. But I think Tampa is basically a sleeper team right now. They might not look like the powerhouse that they were, just a few seasons ago, 4, 5, 6 seasons ago. But if they do make the playoffs, even in a wild card spot, I do not envy the team that must take them on in round one, because once they get there, they've been to the dance before. They know what they're doing. So it'll be super interesting to see how this shakes out in the second half of the NHL season. So there you have it, guys. Those are my rankings for the Atlantic Division Eastern Conference teams for the halfway point of the season. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if this is the first time you're seeing me.